But I mean, I'm sure I can. Service hub. I think there's a way I can just link you to the campaign listing in D&D Beyond, and it should show you all the characters. That's something that Daniel has to do, I think. Because, yeah, there are old, outdated characters on that. I will agree with you. Like, it still shows... That thing still shows that I'm playing my Warlock, which I'm not. And even that, I think it says my Warlock's like level 4. The one thing I did like is he allowed me, before my character left, he allowed me to level up my Warlock to level 5, so I got to choose his upgrades. And I mean, now he chooses it if he levels up the character any further, but I got to choose the level 5 stuff. Alright, let's do that. I forgot I've been in automatic this whole time and not in low. I was like, man, I'm struggling with this mud more than I thought. Did I see Tank Mechanic Sim? Yeah, I already own that. I played it once or twice after it came out, and it was literally like, I hate bashing video games, but Tank Mechanic Sim was literally dog shit when it came out. Like, I don't understand how they released it. It had to have been in beta. But they released it as a full, it's ready game. And I can tell you right now, it was not ready. That being said, I know they've done a bunch of updates since then. Like, maybe 2 months after I tried it, they released an update that was like half the size of the total game. Like, let's say the game was like a 4 gig game, the update was like 1.5 gigs. It was an enormous update. And I never played it since then. So, in all fairness, it could be like completely fine now. But I played it once, got stuck because the game wouldn't let me fix things. And then I waited a couple of weeks, and they released a couple of like smaller updates, and I played it again, and they still hadn't fixed the game-breaking problem that I was experiencing. So I just like uninstalled it. And I know they released a ton of patches since then, so here's hoping it's actually a lot better. I may give it another try. Well, that's a lie. I will give it another try at some point. But I'll tell you right now, it's been like a year since I've played it. And if I go back to it, and it's just as broken as it was, I think I'll probably write it off. And just, like, never suggest it as a game. Like, because it's been over a year since I've played it, I think. And if the developer haven't managed to fix the game-breaking issue in a year, I'm like, nah, man, that's... I can't rightfully suggest that to anybody. So I think the big issue I was having was when I was trying to replace the tank treads, the replacement tank tread wasn't listed as an item that I could purchase. So there was a broken tank tread that I could not repair, and I could not buy the replacement part. It just didn't exist. It's not that I didn't have enough money, it's that the replacement part was not in the store for purchase. So I couldn't repair the part, I couldn't buy a new one, and I couldn't complete the job with the broken one on the tank. So I was stuck. And then I waited like 2 or 3 weeks for a couple of patches to come out, and tried it again, and got stuck at the exact same point. And was like, alright, I give up. Like... Are they even playtesting this? Somebody besides me has to have gotten stuck right here for this very same reason. But yeah, Two Talon, if you find yourself getting, like, interested in D&D and wanting to give it a shot, I'm sure that, that Daniel could work you in as a character for, like, a 1-episode trial to see if you like what it is and how it works. And you can sit down with, like, me and Daniel on a Discord voice call, and we can go over stuff. Like, design the kind of character you want, and if it works well in the story where Daniel wants to include you. And then you would just, like, show up for 1 or 2 weeks and play your character, and then either A, you would be abandoned, if you were like, nah, this ain't for me. Or B, we would work you into the story somehow. If you were all like, yeah, this is my jam, I want to keep doing this. You can also, if you find yourself watching the cartoon and being like, I want to see more of this, I want to see how it's actually played, then you could watch a couple of episodes of the actual campaign of them playing. Man, there are a few things I like more than talking to people about D&D, you know? D&D is just really fun. If you have good players and a good DM, there's few things better than a really good D&D session. Okay, so that's the last thing. There's an upgrade over there. Let's go see if we can get that upgrade. But yeah, never be afraid to ask me D&D questions, man. I love sharing I love sharing just D&D with people. Be like, if you're interested, I will give you all the information you could want. Probably to the point of you being like, all right, calm down there. Put your pants back on, Matt. You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, don't ever feel like you're annoying me with questions, because I guarantee you, you're not. You feel like a pest? You are not being a pest whatsoever. You're essentially going up to, like, it would be like going up to a car guy, a guy that loves cars and collects cars and works on his own car, and you start asking him questions about cars. You're not annoying that person. That person is excited to share their love of cars with somebody. It's the same concept here. It's like talking video games with a video game nerd. Unless that person just happens to be in a bad mood that day. They don't mind talking about video games. Not available for current truck. Okay. So, I think that's it for upgrades on this map, which is interesting. I have not been to Pedro Bay. Let's go back to Northport Garage. What would you say would be a good starter character for a noob? One of the easiest starting classes to play. Hold on. A good starting class is a class that doesn't have a lot of abilities and is relatively non-complex. So, you probably want to stay away from a spellcaster. Maybe something just like a plain fighter. Weird. Those are relatively easy. Oh, I'm already there. Alright, where do I want to go? I want to go to... Grog? No, Grog is a barbarian. Barbarians are also kind of easy. They're definitely not complicated, that's for sure. Barbarians are pretty easy. Fighters are relatively easy. Technically, Percy is a fighter. He's just got a pistol instead of like a sword or an axe or something, but fighters can go either way. Fighters can go dexterity, which is like a light, fast weapon, or a ranged weapon, like Percy has, or they can go strength-based, which is like swords, axes, maces, you know. What essentially you would think of as a weapon that requires more strength than finesse. Whereas barbarians are primarily just D&D Beyond. Yeah, that's probably the best site right now for stuff, for information. That's what we use when we play. I built my character on that website. Plus, you can create an account for free, and when you create a free account, you can create characters on there. I think the free account limits you to 5. You can make 5 characters. But I mean, you could just delete, if you're like, I want to make another character and I don't like this one, you just delete one of the other ones and make another one. It's not 5 total, it's 5 simultaneous.
grabbed it like this. It's so heavy.
So awkward, too.
It really is. It's hurting my wrist.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, create a free account and then go in there and just start looking at characters. Like, tell it you want to build a character and it'll walk you through the process. It's like, okay, what race do you want to be? There's no such thing as a preferred race and class combination anymore. That used to be a thing, but it is not any longer. Every race can be every class, and every race is good at every class. There are racial benefits to certain class, to stats, but that doesn't necessarily indicate that they're better at that. It's just like, you know, if you play this race, you get +1 strength. So it's an incentive to be like, it's more common to play a character that uses strength, but it's not required. You can play an orc wizard. But yeah, I definitely tell people if they're going to play D&D for the first time and they've never played before, they don't know anything about it, I definitely recommend classes that don't really do much with magic, because magic can get very complicated. Especially considering classes that use magic primarily, they're not very good at much else other than magic. So to get your feet wet, it's usually good to be like a fighter, a barbarian, you know, maybe a cleric. But that's iffy. Rogues don't really use magic, but rogues are also very complicated.
Tabaxi Warlock.
What's that?
I said Tabaxi Warlock, Tabaxi Sorcerer.
Oh, God. Yeah. Your first character should be a Tabaxi Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Let's find you the most complicated race class combination.
Told me Ranger was pretty basic.
Ranger's relatively basic, yep. Ranger is, the nice thing about Ranger is basic at low level, and if you decide that D&D is something you want to get into, Rangers get more complicated as they level up. So, you can start to, like, I don't know what level they get magic, but at some point they get magic. Some really basic magic abilities. So you can play a ranger and see how you like them. And then if you're like, I don't know if I like rangers, well, play the ranger out and you'll get into magic later. And you can kind of see, do you like messing with magic? Yeah, actually, this is sweet. You know, okay, well, maybe your next character should be a primarily magic user. Aarakocra. Yeah, those are like raven people. Bird people. Bird person. Yeah, you would be bird person from Rick and Morty. Yeah, I want to come explore all these maps because Alaska is supposed to have 2 more upgrades for the Hummer. And I've gotten the upgrades from I've gotten all the upgrades from 3 out of the 4 maps, so that means this 4th map should have the upgrades for this armor. And I really want the 2 upgrades that are missing. I think it's like Pedro Valley or something. There's so much to look through. There's a lot of stuff, dude. And you know what's funny is the free account doesn't even give you access to everything. It limits your access to the basic options. Like, I think the number of races to the basic account is limited to like 12 or 15, but there's like 3 times as many. Alright, where's... Pedro Valleys must be over there. Okay. But yeah, I can tell you just trying to scare me into doing doing a good job. Well, it's like I said, none of that is super important. What race you choose is not important to your character at all, unless you like develop like a deep lore backstory and stuff like that. But as your first playthrough, race is not something you should really be concerned about. Backstory is not something you should be concerned about. Don't worry about any of that. Your primary concern should be what class do you want to play. And there are like 8, I think, maybe 9 to choose from. There's not a lot of options there. But honestly, that should be the place to start. Is what class do you want to play? Because that will affect the game more than anything else at this point. Well, that is a large hole. Hey, another gas station. Nice. Let's fuel up again. So in character preferences, you have sources, optional features, and a bunch of other things you're not sure how to answer. I'd have to look at the website in front of me to see what you're talking about. When it says sources, does it give you like a selection of options to choose from, or what? Pedro Bay, that's what it's called. Okay, now Pedro Bay doesn't seem that large. Okay. This looks like the size of Island Lake, maybe? Oh, it's all slanted and ice. Oh, oh no. Yeah, I need chains. Homebrew content, crit roll content, and 4 more. You're guessing homebrew? Homebrew is like player created content. Don't worry too much about that right now. You can just leave it all off. It's asking if you want to give yourself more options based off of those selections. So those are in addition to the base game. Do you want extra stuff? You know, do you want crit roll options? Because there are. Matt Mercer has created his own races and classes and abilities, and they have those on D&D Beyond. But all of Matt's stuff is primarily high tier, like more difficult. So I wouldn't really concern yourself with that right now. So I would say no. Homebrew, no. So I would just leave all that turned off. Allow or restrict optional features for this character. Optional class features, customize your origin. No, I wouldn't worry about any of that. Basically, anything that is optional, I would just skip over. Just don't do it. Because right now, you're not trying to design your character, you're trying to see what things are. You're not like, this is it? This is the thing. Oh. Really? Where did that rock come from? I did not even see that. Sometimes I feel like these rocks just appear, like, as you're driving by. I did not see that rock at all. Alright, I need to open this up so that I've got that task. There we go. Alright, so how are we doing this? I think I need to go this way. Road closed. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like that's the way I need to go. Yeah, all that optional stuff seems to be more like, do you want to make character creation more complicated? And right now you don't. That's you can get into that stuff later. You can actually go back and modify it later too. They make reference to Dragonlance. Oh yeah. Where the heck is that? Okay, that's there. You have to keep in mind that while this is a website dedicated to creating a D&D 5e character, it is not owned by Dungeons and Dragons. The website is run by Fandom, I think? The company that owns all the Wikia websites and stuff. Why does Baka not play with us? Baka's got like 1 million campaigns, and one of her campaigns plays at the same time ours does. So I think Baka said she has like 5 D&D groups that she's in right now, which, in my opinion, is overkill. I have a hard time playing more than one just based off of my time schedule. The fact that she can play one D&D campaign almost every day is crazy to me. Alright. Let's take a look. Are there any upgrades around here? Negative. There is a trailer store? That's good. I guess we can come down here and get this one. That doesn't seem so bad. We'll come across there. And then kind of work our way towards this. There's probably a road that comes down this way somewhere. How the hell do you do that? I could probably, if I had all the free time in the world, I could probably do 2 or 3 campaigns simultaneously and be able to keep the things separate. In my head, I don't have time, so I tried doing 2, and I just couldn't keep the time to do 2 properly. I was constantly pushing one off to do the other, and then vice versa, and I was like, I can't. I just don't have the free time for this. Which was disappointing, because the one that I dropped and ended up falling apart was Mass Effect based, which you know how much I love. Yeah, he found it difficult to work it into his schedule too. Because he was also the DM, which takes a lot more time. Especially if you're doing it all from scratch like he was. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. Yeah, that was Mass Effect. Next time I go to a garage, tell me to put on chains, would you? At least for this truck. With my warrior elephant. Essentially, yeah. Everybody wanted to be one of the really cool classes, and I was like, I'll just be a soldier. It's like, just give me access to all the powerful weapons, and I'll be an Elcor, because that sounds like fun. So I would just like, I had tons of hit points, and I was really durable, and I would just run up into people's faces. Do I have a YouTube channel? I do. ! YouTube will get you a link to that. Same thing with Discord and Twitter, if you're interested in those. But yeah, all my back play of this game is up on there. 70 something hours so far. I get that. Where am I going? Like I'm going this way and then probably up here, I would guess. Okay. Can somebody type !YouTube in the chat? Thank you, sir. There's my YouTube. Alright, how we going? Oh, no, this is the right way. Okay. Perfect. We'll do that. Excellent. Thank you, Mom. Upgrades? It says upgrade location. Ooh, it's right behind me. I can go that way to get out of here. And then we can come up here. There we go. Let's do that. Not available for this truck. Well, crap. Yay for the extended winch. Okay. Yeah, the nice thing about D&D Beyond is as you're looking at the classes in the selection list, it gives you a basic rundown of what the class does and can do. Same thing with the races. It tells you kind of a rough idea of what the race is, what they look like. Well, it's just restarting. I don't need to do that. I haven't even started it. What does that say? Vehicles over 40 prohibited. Huh? I guess they mean 40 miles an hour? Trunk, let's go roof, fill all of that. Humans have the most flexibility? Yes. Humans are the most well-rounded. But they are not exceptional at anything. But they are good at everything, is their deal. You also have to keep in mind, humans can also not see in the dark. And almost all the other options can. So that's a big, that's a big downside to keep an eye on. Oh, it's just literally right up ahead. Okay. Well, that's convenient. So there should be 2 more upgrades here, at least. And 2 of them should be for me. I think details are things like personal preferences for the character, like height, weight, backstory. What does the character look like? Stuff like that. Again, stuff that is not important initially. It's things that are eventually important, but I mean, you don't need to worry about it right now. Upgrade. They have to look cool. Well, I mean, yeah. Alright, so let's come over here. We're gonna do that number. I'm kind of hoping this is my raised suspension, because if it's the raised suspension, I can get the larger chain tires. Why is my character not on there? It is. It's, wait, no, it isn't. It's not because I'm part of a campaign, and Daniel is running the campaign, and Daniel has access to extra races that are bonus races that are like you have to pay to unlock those. And because he's running the campaign and he owns it, I can use it, even though I don't own it. My Warlock's race is on there, though. My Warlock was a tiefling. Well, it's not there either. Huh. Is that the $6 subscription for D&D Beyond? No, it's you have to purchase a book. It's a one-time purchase of a book. Let's try going that way. And I forget which book gives you Warforged. Because certain books give you access to certain races and classes. And, so it's not like you purchase a book and you get access to all the races and classes. The $6 subscription gives you unlimited character creation. Your account would have to be accepted into a campaign where the person running the campaign owned the book. You don't necessarily have to own the book yourself. But if you're in a campaign and the DM has the book, then you can utilize it. But you have to utilize it for the character that's going to be in that campaign. If you get off of that campaign, that character it goes into a locked status and you can't change them. You could delete them, but you couldn't, like, modify them further because you're not in the campaign of the dude that owns the book. So, like, when this campaign ends and I leave Daniel's campaign, my cleric it'll still be there and I can still look at him. I just won't be able to modify him in any way. Because I won't have access to the book. That's what's confusing to you? I mean, it's just you don't own the book. That's it. Not any more confusing than that. It's like licensing. It's like you didn't buy a license for their software, so you can't use it. Is this the big tree? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Let's see if I can slow down my tires and get up on the snow. I think I can. But that's how that website makes its money. Is if you have a free account, you can make all the characters you want. You think you like Goliath? Goliaths are pretty sick, dude. That's what grog is. But like you're either limited to like 5 or 6 characters, whatever the limit is for the free account, and then you have to pay them a monthly amount to have unlimited character creation. Or if you still want to stick with the free account, but you want some of the more uncommon races and classes, then you have to buy the book in order to like unlock that. That being said, the book is a one-time purchase, so now my light's on. Look at that. Wow, what a genius. Nailed it.
I'm Commander Shepard, and AwesomeMattG is my favorite streamer on Twitch.
Hey, Baka, thanks for the resub. 49 months in a row. That is awesome. Thank you very much. Baka's missing all the D&D talk. That's okay. Last time we talked about D&D and I was trying to like not scare you and get you into it, every time I would bring something up, Baka would bring up the most complicated version of the thing we were talking about. And I'd be like, Baka, stop! You're scaring him. Baka's more than willing to join in on the D&D talk as long as she doesn't try to scare you off. I'm all like, hey, a fighter or a ranger are pretty simple classes. She's like, sorcerers are cool because they get sorcerer points where they can do split magic and wild magic. And I'm just like, oh my god, Baka, stop. He's scared to play a Goliath fighter, like the simplest combination. Leave him alone. No, it's all good. Like, I'm glad you're excited about D&D. It's just, you know way more about D&D than Two Talon does. So you start going into like the really advanced stuff, and he's just like, I'm scared. This sounds way more complicated. And I'm like, it's not. Just ignore everything Baka says. He's making things too hard. You were a noob once too? Yeah, for sure. Okay. So D&D Beyond is the best place to start, yeah. Hey Lucid, what's up, man? Alright, so I'm pretty sure I've explored all of Alaska and it's still not giving me my stuff. Like, didn't it say that I unlock stuff in Alaska? Customize. Suspension. Nope. Suspension. Alaska, North America. And then the diff lock. Alaska, North America. Is there another Alaska? Oh, some stuff's not revealed by watchtowers? Oh, what a dick move. I didn't know that. I thought all the upgrades were revealed by watchtowers. Well, crap.